In today's explanation, we are going to explore the anatomy of the urinary system with a particular focus on the structure and function of the kidneys, which are vital organs responsible for maintaining the internal chemical balance of the body. As we have already seen in earlier discussions, the kidneys have three primary roles, which are to remove toxic waste products such as urea from the blood, to regulate the concentration of dissolved ions such as sodium and potassium in the bloodstream, and to control the amount of water retained or released by the body. To achieve all of these crucial functions, blood continuously circulates through the kidneys, entering via the renal arteries and exiting through the renal veins. As the blood flows through these organs, the kidneys extract waste materials from it and form a liquid waste product called urine. This urine then travels downward through narrow muscular tubes called the ureters and is temporarily stored in the bladder until it is released from the body through the urethra during urination. To truly understand how the kidneys manage to produce urine, we need to take a closer look at their internal structure, which is quite complex but very logical. If we were to slice open a kidney from top to bottom in a cross-sectional view, we would see that it contains millions of tiny individual filtration units, known as nephrons. Under a microscope, these nephrons appear as intricate structures made up of different parts. The yellow portion represents the tubule, which carries the filtered fluid that is on its way to becoming urine, while the red parts are the surrounding blood vessels that interact with the tubules. The process of forming urine begins with a stage known as filtration. This occurs when the liquid part of the blood is forced out of a small tangled network of capillaries known as the glomerulus and into a cup-shaped structure called the Bowman's capsule, which marks the starting point of the tubule. Only tiny molecules are small enough to pass through the filtering barrier, so substances like water, glucose, amino acids, urea, and various ions can be filtered, while larger components such as blood cells and proteins remain in the blood. In total, only about 1/5 of the plasma portion of the blood is filtered into the Bowman's capsule during each pass through the glomerulus, and the remainder of the blood continues through the blood vessels unfiltered. Once this filtrate enters the tubule, the kidney then carefully begins to reclaim the useful substances in a process known as selective reabsorption. This means that as the fluid travels through the twisting and turning sections of the tubule, the kidney selectively reabsorbs important materials back into the bloodstream, such as nearly all of the glucose and amino acids, which are valuable to the body. In contrast, only some of the water and ions are reabsorbed depending on the body's current needs, and none of the urea is reabsorbed because the purpose is to eliminate it as waste. This whole process of picking and choosing which substances to reclaim is what we call selective reabsorption, and it happens throughout the length of the tubule as the filtered fluid progresses. Now, to help you identify the different regions of the nephron, let us name each part in the correct order. After the Bowman's capsule comes the proximal convoluted tubule, which is the first segment where much of the reabsorption takes place. Following that is a U-shaped segment known as the loop of Henle, which is crucial for concentrating the urine and conserving water. Next comes the distal convoluted tubule, which further fine-tunes the balance of ions and water. The final part of the nephron is the collecting duct, which collects fluid not only from one nephron but from multiple ones, and any fluid that exits the collecting duct at this point is officially considered urine. If we zoom back out, we can see how this urine flows from the collecting ducts into the ureter, continues into the bladder where it is stored temporarily, and finally exits the body through the urethra when we urinate. And with that, we have covered all the essential concepts regarding the urinary system and the intricate structure of the kidneys, their filtration units, and the pathway through which urine is formed and excreted. Hopefully this explanation has made the process clear and easier to understand.